Good evening, everyone. Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Chant here for this edition of Nate at 8. And coming up, we're going to be talking about those wintry conditions, which will likely persist as we extend into tomorrow. One more cold day ahead for us on Tuesday before a warm-up does follow then into the weekend, and overall a much milder weekend ahead for us with respect to the beginning of this work week. We will be watching as our preview of winter here in November continues into tomorrow. Some snow showers lingering, so we'll be watching and breaking down some snow showers into our future cast that will likely carry over into tomorrow. So we're going to break that down as well. So several things here to get into on this edition of Nate at 8. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Starting off with those temperatures. Again, this is a taste of the upcoming season, no doubt about it. Those highs for today remaining in the 30s. Now temperatures falling in the 20s, and we're on our way, even ending up closer to that 20-degree mark. We're still going to cool well into the 20s going into tomorrow morning. That's coming off of highs that were in the mid to upper 30s, 37 degrees to be exact, at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. And to get a temperature this cold this early into the season before November 11th is something we haven't seen in 6 years. That's the last time we had highs 37 or below before November 11th. And back in 2019, 6 years ago, it occurred on the 8th with a high of 35 degrees. So no, not typical to deal with this cold of temperatures this early into the season. Typically, we're dealing with this later on into this month. But within the first 10 days of November is something, again, that is not typical for us. And it's been 6 years since we saw those temperatures in the 37 or below for a high before November 11th. It's been 6 years that the last occurred 2019 on November 8th with a high of 35 degrees. Our wind speeds, of course, add another story to it, right? Our temperatures today in the 30s, but it never felt like it was in the 30s with these wind speeds. It felt like it was in the 20s, and now it is even feeling like it's into the teens. And we'll see their wind chill values extending into tomorrow morning as temperatures drop off a bit more tonight. Again, likely ending up lower 20s for that low, but those wind chills are likely ending up in the lower teens. It's going to feel closer to 10 degrees tomorrow morning. Again, just unseasonably cold. That might be an understatement. It's just it's a taste of winter, certainly here for these November days. And tomorrow, well, similar with respect to today. I think overall, in terms of how it felt today, it's going to feel similar tomorrow. So highs are back mid-upper 30s. We have that breeze in place, wind gusts even upwards of 25, 30 miles per hour. Maybe I think the wind speeds can be a little bit higher tomorrow. I think tomorrow may even feel a little bit colder to us with respect to today, but likely similar, right? It's similar. It's still going to feel cold tomorrow, similar to what we had for today, just an overall cold day. Now, where the differences start with respect to today and tomorrow is going to be more in the precipitation. So, we dealt with some of these snow showers while they were scattered. We dealt with them continuing going throughout this afternoon and this evening, and even for last night. There was a little bit of a break there going throughout the latter part of the morning into midday, then more snow showers in the afternoon. Tomorrow is likely going to break that. So I will be watching as we go overnight. We can still deal with a few additional snow showers going into tomorrow morning. We can even have a few snow showers stick around initially for the start of tomorrow during the morning commute. Notice what happens then going into midday and then going through the afternoon. Those snow showers likely taper off. So that's going to be the biggest difference, I think, is the lack of snow showers. Well, it was still more scattered. We had some in place for this afternoon, continuing in this evening. And that's, I think, going to be the biggest difference for tomorrow is less snow shower activity, especially going into the afternoon and evening. Outside of that, temperatures similar. We have the breeze in place and even starting off with some snow showers continuing in the morning. From there, a slight chance that we may see a flurry, maybe a snow shower return. Futurecast is picking up on this, even though it's keeping it further towards our east. It is picking up on the fact that, again, we may sneak in some flurries, maybe a snow shower passing tomorrow night, going into Wednesday morning, and then going throughout the day on Wednesday. Again, not great odds, but maybe sneaking in more of an isolated or stray shower on Wednesday. It's possible, but these are mainly, if not completely, dry conditions Tuesday night into Wednesday. It's just that slight chance, so we can't quite rule something out that's going to be more astray during that time period. Now, by the time we get into Thursday, then that threat does look to fall off completely, and we'll likely start to see a lot more clearing in our skies at that point. That's going to be the day I would say watch is more so into Thursday, that we finally see, a lot of sunshine break out, and we're likely back to more mostly sunny sky by the daytime Thursday. And that will mark an even further warm up as we get into Wednesday. Highs are still struggling to get in the 50s, but by Thursday, we're likely topping off just into the 50s into the afternoon. So in terms of snow accumulations tonight, into through tomorrow morning, we're talking little or none. And when we're talking little, it would be just like what we saw for last night, what we saw for today. There's going to be primarily grassy surfaces. If your car's parked outside, can stick to your vehicle. So you may wake up just like some of you might have this morning and, had the dusting, a bit of a coating on your vehicle, on the grass. And it can be similar for tomorrow. And that's likely the extent of accumulation. Not anticipating much, if any, impact for tomorrow morning's commute. And overall, again, we're looking at likely little or none, and little being, if anything's measurable, staying less than even a half of an inch. Just like what Futurecast is hinting at there, maybe something measurable, but it's going to be very little in spots, and it is going to be more scattered, just like the snow shower activity, but not much, if any, actual accumulation there. And again, I think the more likely case, the scenario is a dusting again in some spots, a coating maybe in some spots, not much, right? And it's primarily grassy surfaces, vehicles parked outside, just like what it was for this morning, likely again going into tomorrow morning. Joe there, good evening. Thank you as always for tuning in. Same as Austin there. Thank you as always for tuning in. Good evening to you. Yesterday and today was crazy. Got caught in the downpour yesterday and got to watch the snowfall this morning while taking garbage out. Enjoyed watching the snowfall today. Austin, a fan of the snow. And I'm with you there, Austin. I like that. It's nice to be able to sit inside, right? You get to enjoy the warmth and while also watching it. Maybe not so much going out in it. But yeah, it was... I'm with you there, Austin. I enjoyed that too. That might be, we'll see how many people agree with us, Austin, enjoying the snow. I know there's some that are not. Well, there's Renee. There it is. Not ready for the cold weather, especially the snow. I was going to say, I know there's some people that are not a fan of it. And I understand that too. Shelly, thank you as always for tuning in as well. I appreciate it. You're so very welcome. Renee, thank you for tuning in as well. So our 9+1 day forecast, where do we go from here, right? Well, we're going up. We are going up after tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow's similar to today, but once we get past tomorrow, we're going up. And again, mainly dry, if not completely dry conditions Wednesday. Just throwing in that slight chance that maybe an isolated shower can linger Tuesday night into Wednesday. Again, mainly dry conditions, though. By Thursday, the sun breaks back out. By Friday, back to a mix of sun and clouds. Rain chances will pick back up this weekend. That Sunday into Monday time frame looks to be leaning a little more towards Sunday now, that we can deal with some additional showers moving back in. And we'll see our high temperatures at that point, likely topping off back 50s and even possibly into the 60s on Sunday. Sunday looks to be, as we go through this weekend, our warmest day. So I think that's when we could see, again, overall, much milder this weekend with respect to these 30s at the beginning of this week. But our warmest day could end up being Sunday. And that could be met then with some showers. We'll see. Again, it's a fine tuning of that rain from Sunday into Monday, starting to lean more into Sunday now with some of these latest model runs with respect to Monday. But that potential, therefore, is something more isolated, maybe sneaking in a shower to start the weekend. And again, maybe seeing something linger into Monday. Right now, seeing most of that shower activity likely centered around Sunday. A little bit of a cool down then follows, 50s back closer to 50, maybe just in the 40s, but nothing as drastic as these 30s look to be ahead going into next Tuesday. But there will likely be a bit of a cool down off this weekend into early next week. Just again, does not look to be a repeat of these 30s like what we're dealing with for the beginning of this week going into the beginning of next week. Does not look to turn quite that cold during that time period. So yeah, definitely a taste of winter. Typically we do get some of these cold days in November. Typically we do see, snow in November. Even some accumulation is typical in November. And this early, though, again, it's a bit out of the normal this early. Within the first 10 days in November, typically not that we're dealing with temperatures this cold. Typically it's later into the month, more late November, that we're dealing with highs to this extent. And it's the first time in 6 years. If you're just tuning in, the first time in 6 years. We have to go back to 2019, and we had a high at 35 on November 8th of 2019. The last time we had temperatures this cold, this early into the season. It's been some time. Austin says, heard that the snow caused 200 car crashes. Everyone needs to slow down and take the time. And yeah, I saw that you get some higher elevation into the mountains in West Virginia. You get into some of those higher elevations, and yeah, there's and even further to our west, you're getting a more of a wintry site outside of our area that we dealt with even much more serious winter conditions. And that caused a lot of slowdowns, and like you said there, Austin, caused some accidents. And yeah, I got I'd say bad at some locations, not for us, but getting into those higher elevations, the mountains in West Virginia, and even back further west and north of us in the Buckeye State, dealing a little more of a wintry site with respect to what we had. Steve and Nate at 8, what is going on? Thanks for tuning in. And Austin and Renee and Shelly and Joe, as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always for this edition of Nate at 8. Again, one more wintry day, and then we're climbing back up to more seasonable values going into the weekend. And they're even more mild day by Sunday, but that could very well be met then with some showers as we see highs climb back into the 60s. You can catch me coming up, News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11 for the latest. And as always, for the next edition of Nate at 8. We'll join back here tomorrow evening talking about our last cold day. At that point, we'll get to say it's all up from here, right? If you like the winter weather, though, of course, you get one more day to enjoy more of wintry weather for tomorrow. Not as much snow shower activity likely around tomorrow, but we'll deal with some still more cold, more wintry like temperatures for tomorrow. And from there, then climbing back up. Not a fan of the cold again. Give it one more day. We'll climb back then 50s, even likely 60s by the latter part of this weekend. And thanks so much again for tuning in. Catch me coming up, News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11. And as always, that next edition of Nate at 8. Until then, have a wonderful night. I'll see all of you tomorrow evening for the next edition of Nate at 8. Have a good night.